They told him he was too small, too slow, too broken, 3 doctors, 2 coaches, and an entire town that had already decided his story was over before it had even truly begun. His name was Aidan. He grew up in a small town in northern Ontario, Canada, where winters lasted 8 months, where hockey was not just a sport but a religion, and where every boy dreamed of one day hearing his name called on draft night. His father had played junior hockey, his grandfather before that. In Aidan's family the ice was not a surface, it was a birthright, and from the moment he could stand, Aidan was on it. By the time he was 12, every scout in the region knew his name. He was faster than anyone his age. His shot was harder. His instincts were sharper. Coaches called him a generational talent. Parents called him a future NHLer. And Aidan just called himself hungry. Then at 14, the injury that was supposed to end everything, a bad hit in a playoff game. He heard the pop before he felt the pain. Torn ACL, torn MCL. The surgeon looked at his parents and said the words that every athlete dreads more than any opponent. He may never play at the same level again. 14 months of rehabilitation. Every single day. Exercises that made him want to scream. Ice baths at 5 a.m. Days when his knees swelled so badly he could not walk to the bathroom without gripping the wall. And through every single one of those days, he kept one thing on his bedroom wall. A photograph of the Stanley Cup. His friends moved on. The team moved on. By the time Aidan came back to the ice, 16 months after the injury, 3 players who were once considered below his level had already been recruited by top junior programs. The world had not waited for him. It never does. He laced up his skates alone that first morning back. Nobody watching, no crowd, no scouts, just him and the ice and 16 months of everything he had survived. He pushed off the boards. First stride, second stride, third, and by the 10th stride he was crying, not because it hurt, because it did not. But the comeback was not clean. He had missed too much time. His body had changed. His timing was off. The junior team that had once wanted him passed on him in tryouts. The coach pulled him aside and said, "You were great before, but we cannot build around a question mark." Second tryout. Different team, different city, same result. Third tryout. He made the roster. Then got cut 2 weeks later when a higher-rated prospect became available. 3 chances. 3 times the door closed in his face. Most people would have read the message. Aidan read it differently. He read it as, "Not yet." He went home, sat in his childhood bedroom, looked at the Stanley Cup photograph on the wall, and made a list, not of excuses, a list of every single weakness the coaches had mentioned. Speed off the start, shot release, defensive positioning, physical strength. He numbered them 1 to 7. Then he built a training program around destroying every single one. He trained like a man possessed. 5 a.m. starts every single morning. On-ice training before school, weight training after, shot practice against the garage door at night until the neighbors complained, and then he put a tarp up and kept shooting 6 days a week for an entire year. His mother watched him from the kitchen window every morning. She never said much, but every day without fail she left a hot meal and a glass of water on the counter before he came in from training. No speech, no motivational poster. Just a mother making sure her son had fuel for whatever he had decided to become. His father worked at a lumber mill. Long shifts. He could not always be at the rink, but every Friday night without fail, no matter how tired he was, he drove Aidan to the outdoor rink at the edge of town and watched him skate under the lights, never said much, just watched. Sometimes that is the loudest thing a parent can do. 4th tryout, different league, smaller market team in Quebec. He showed up 2 days early, asked the coaching staff if he could use the ice before official tryouts began. They said yes, half expecting him not to show. He showed every morning. Before anyone else arrived, he made the team, not as a star, as the last cut kept, the player who made it by the thinnest margin. The coaching staff told him straight, "You are here because of your work ethic, but you will need to earn every single minute of ice time." Aidan looked at the head coach and said, "That is all I have ever wanted, a chance to earn it." First season, limited ice time, but every minute he got, he made count. Every shift was played like it was his last. Every practice he stayed 30 minutes longer than everyone else. Coaches noticed, teammates noticed. By mid-season he was no longer the last cut. He was the first name on the second line. Word spread the way it always does when talent meets obsession, fast and wide. By his second season, he was leading his team in points. Scouts started appearing in the stands. The same scouts who had passed on him 2 years earlier were now sitting rinkside with clipboards and serious faces. Aiden skated past them every shift without looking up. He had learned that the only audience that mattered was the one inside his own chest. Draft night came when Aiden was 19. He sat in a hotel ballroom in his best suit, dark navy, white shirt, no tie, his parents beside him, his father in the same jacket he wore to the lumber mill, his mother holding her purse so tightly her knuckles were white. Round 1 passed, round 2. Round 3, his father put his hand on his knee, said nothing, just his hand on his knee. Round 4, pick number 94. The commissioner walked to the podium, spoke the words that Aiden had rehearsed in his head 10,000 times since he was a boy on a frozen pond in northern Ontario. His name, his actual name. Called out loud in a room full of people who had once told him the answer was no. He hugged his mother first, then his father. His father held him for a long time, longer than he ever had before, and Aiden felt it then. The 16 months of rehab, the 3 rejections, the 5 a.m. starts, the garage door practice sessions, all of it compressed into that one hug. All of it worth it. 3 years in the professional league. The first year, adjustment. The second, breakout. The third, he was named to the All-Star team. The boy who was told he was too small, too slow, too broken, was standing on the same ice as the players he had watched on television from a small bedroom in northern Ontario. In his 4th professional season, Aiden's team made the playoffs. Game 7, final series, 3rd period, score tied. 2 minutes left, the puck found his stick in the slot, the same way it had found him 1,000 times in an empty garage in northern Ontario. He did not think, he just shot. The way he had trained, the way he had always trained, and the red light came on. When they handed him the trophy, the same trophy whose photograph had lived on his bedroom wall through every painful morning and every closed door, he held it above his head. And for 1 second he was not a professional athlete in front of thousands of people. He was a 14-year-old boy lying on the ice, gripping his knee, and he was telling that boy, "I got us here. We made it." His parents were in the stands. His father, the man from the lumber mill who never missed a Friday night at the outdoor rink, was standing with both arms raised, crying without trying to hide it. For the first time in Aiden's life, he saw his father cry openly. And it was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. He went back to his hometown the following summer, drove to the outdoor rink at the edge of town, the one with the wooden boards and the wobbly net and the cracked ice that never quite froze flat. He laced up his old skates, the worn-out black Adidas ones, and he skated alone for 1 hour. No cameras, no crowd, just him and the ice that started everything. He started a hockey program for underprivileged kids in northern Ontario, equipment provided, ice time paid for, coaching given freely every Saturday morning. He showed up every single week without fail, because he remembered being the kid who almost did not get a chance. And he had decided, on his watch, no kid in his region would lose their dream because of money. They told Aiden he was too small. The game disagreed. They told him he was too slow. The scoreboard disagreed. They told him he was too broken to come back. The trophy he lifted above his head disagreed. Every single time someone tells you what you cannot do, they are giving you a gift. They are showing you exactly where to aim. The road to impossible is paved with the words of people who stopped trying too early. Every person who ever told you no was simply someone who had already quit. Their ceiling was never yours, their story was never yours, and their ending will never be yours. The trophy is real. The journey was real. The pain was real. And the decision, the one made by a boy on a broken fire escape who refused to accept the story the world had written for him, that was the most real thing of all. That decision is available to you, right now, today. The only question is whether you are brave enough to make it. If Aiden's story hit something inside you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Subscribe to Zero to Empire and drop a comment right now. What is the one thing someone told you was impossible that you are still chasing? Because that answer is your championship.